Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? I'm Nat from Nat's Tech Bits, otherwise known as your friendly neighborhood basement dweller. Don't worry, ma'am, I am from the internet. Today I want to talk a little bit about Pokemon. Yes, sir. Man, I remember back in the day when Red and Blue finally hit the shores of North America. I was the first person in my area to pick it up. I had a friend that really thought it was pretty cool. He decided to pick it up too. I think I was in grade 10 then. Now, the original generation was kind of badass. It was really cool. The next generations came out, and your Pokemon was like balloons and ice cream cones. I kind of dropped off from those about then because I wanted to play with some of these, and the ladies didn't like guys who played with Pokemon. Now, that would change in the future. That would definitely change in the future. And it really seems like in the future, in high school, people gave you a hard time for playing it, but when you got to college and university, everyone was okay with it again. Unless you were with the really cool girls and the mean girls. Well, that's interesting and a thing unto itself. I remember waiting for it to come out. I'm an old school anime fan, and I kept hearing about things like, what was it, the Polygon episode, where kids were being sent to the hospital for being sick from seeing the red and the blue strobing effect. It's interesting that that's all that it took. Now, fast forward about 30 years? Something like that. McDonald's is actually having problems. McDonald's in Japan, is having problems with people getting in fights over these cards. Over these cards. It just freaking blows my mind that they ran out. Now, we've had problems, crazy problems before with cards, like Yu-Gi-Oh, for example. There was one particular tournament that you could only get a certain pack of cards at this tournament. They ran out earlier. People were being too crazy trying to get these cards, so they decided that they weren't going to sell them, and that started a little bit of a riot. Which is funny, because these are just trading card games, right? Now, Yu-Gi-Oh isn't really tech related, but Pokemon is. Man, it's amazing to think that from Game Freak, for the original Game Boy, this originally came out. Big freaking deal. Big freaking deal. But, anyways, one thing that I'm noticing with this new market for Pokemon cards is I have a feeling it's going to end up a lot like the old comic book and trading card market. Now, if you guys don't remember, back in the late 80s, early 90s, everybody wanted to have the special cards. Everyone wanted the special comics. Speculators were getting into the market and driving prices up to insanely high amounts. And, oh, my video's done. Up to insanely high amounts. And it didn't stay that way for long, because once the speculators got it, once the collectors got what they wanted, the price kind of fell off. Comic books really fell off. I mean, Marvel Comics was about to go belly up at a certain point because, yeah, I think they had to sell off a lot of their movie rights to Fox. And because of that, we had the original 2000 X-Men. Comics were not doing very good around there. I know I fell off around the Onslaught era, and that was such a tick off because even before all the heroes died, they were advertising the hero's return. Figure that out. Just bad writing. But then again, like at the time, I was a target audience, and even I just knew there was something really sketchy going on there. And these days, I get really frustrated when anybody dies in comic books because there is no consequence. There is zero consequence to death in comic books these days, and that really gets me going. Like Thor the Immortal recently died. He died back in Civil War. No, Avengers Disassembled. And his death was so good. The wolf ate the moon. All of that stuff from Ragnarok legitimately happened. And Iron Man and Captain America got together and tried to help. The comic was well written, but they decided to change everything. Just so. Wait, is the comic storyline still going with Ash and Pikachu? No, they had new protagonists, right? I gotta say, it's interesting that these cards have lasted as long as they did. I had an original blue deck, first edition, just because I thought, I might as well. And it had the Zapdos bird in it with foil, and some kid lifted it off me. They stole it from me in my old room, in my old bedroom. I'm not too broken up about it. Stuff comes, stuff goes, the very Buddhist ways. Lord knows I was never perfect, and still doesn't bother me at all. But what does bother me is that ultimately, at the end of the day, these cards are supposed to be going to kids or people that really enjoy this stuff. And it seems like we have a big problem with scalpers right now. It seems to be that because so much money was dumped to people, so much money was given to people during COVID, that it started up a trend for people wanting to purchase things that they like as collectibles. And that's not a very good idea. And now we can get comics and cards and everything based off anything. Here's some examples. Ninja Turtles and Street Fighter. Yes, they did, and yes, I did. I had to. But if it's just kind of like a one-off you're going to go get from the comic store, man, every now and then I go to Steve's, I go to my comic store, and I just have to get something because I got to support my boy Steve. Gotta support the industry. Now, right now, I'm looking at Star Wars Mandalorian, Boba Fett figure, a retro figure, and these are supposed to be ultra collectible. They went from the pegs in Walmart for damn near $30. Oh, $30 to $4 at the Dollarama. It's a perceived value. And I worry about this stuff. I worry about this stuff. I worry about these Pokemon. There are actually fights breaking out in Japan, which is really concerning because the Japanese aren't quite the type to do this. Of course, they're saying it's the Chinese within Japan that are having these fights. But there's some really interesting, really good fights. I watched someone took a knee to the head. Not, not like I thought that like ended people. It can, but it just didn't end this guy. He's lucky he had his homeboy to have his back. But it's interesting how far we've come. I don't think these things are going to be worth much in the long run. I really don't. Mostly because I've seen what happened to the card market. Let's face it, if you know about flipping, you know about the junk wax era of cards, and that's basically when I was into it. Believe it or not, back in the day, pulling a Wayne Gretzky card was just as normal as pulling a Bob Brown card, a Bobby Brown card. Uh, they basically what they did is they just had these sheets that they printed out, and there was Wayne Gretzky was on one of them. And the big reason that the card market went so big is the Wayne Gretzky rookie cards just went through the roof, through the frickin' roof. These days you can get Wayne Gretzky rookie cards, like fake ones for like $20. And by the way, if you have a Wayne Gretzky rookie card and you have it sealed up in some kind of tight glass thing, you get it out of there because the way that they tell if it's an official one is how bad the cut marks are around it. So if the cut marks look too good, people will just think that it's a fake, a fraud. And man, these fakers are getting better and better at this stuff. We want to get back to the Pokemon cards. It is too easy for people to get into these things. There are so many cards. Now, I honestly don't know if the price of these things, like I can't say they absolutely won't because geez, Pokemon cards have been around for about 25 years, right? I can still remember when I was like maybe 20 years old, maybe 19, when I picked up a pack. Now here's the thing, Magic the Gathering, there's a lot of people speculating with the old cards, the vintage cards. And like Rudy on Alpha Investments, he was sure that those ones would go up in price, but it didn't actually happen. Like they've been getting up to a certain point and they stay there. They don't move. Nothing's happening with them. So I'm wondering if that's what's going to happen with Pokemon because these days, like the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering cards, The price is phenomenal. It's stupid. And I gotta say, guys, if you like Final Fantasy, don't go out and get the packs. Like me, I love Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8, and 9. Really like 9 because 9 was like 6. Just get the individual cards. You'll get them for a song. I got a bunch. I got Sabin doing the suplex on the ghost train. Guys, if you know, you know. I got a bunch of cards and I was just so happy with them. I was so happy with them. I'm not playing Final Fantasy so much anymore because I almost started playing this game. Look at the starting cast without knowing them and guess which ones are males and which ones are females. Like I get LGBTQ, I get we're in a new age, a new era, but I want one Gritty. I need at least one Barrett. I need at least one Locke or Cyan or Sabin or Edgar. Like even they were pretty effeminate, but it was in the style. It was definitely within the style, and it was kind of beautiful. We've changed. Things have changed from being, let's say, a mono watercolor to CGI. And hey, that's what happens. The market changes. You get the market thing where the market goes up, and then you have to change your product, or it goes down, it crashes, whatever. But anyways, it's interesting, and I definitely think we need to revisit this whole, do we really need to be fighting over Pokemon cards at McDonald's? Especially in Japan. You'd think they have their stuff together, but it is what it is. That's how it's going. Old school 90s Game Freak game. Now so totally owned by Nintendo. Number one in the hood, G. That's it for me. That from Tech. But have a good one and take care of each other, please. Catch you later.